I didn't think I saw things about myself that I was ashamed of. I was like, not the self-love girl,
Right.
not these type of insecurities. No, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
This is not cute, you know? And I started to see myself, and I was like, and then I started to see the people around me that mirrored that. And I was like, I don't like it. I just got really, I shut down on everybody. And it was just me and God.
Mm-hmm.
And God was the one that restored me once I gave up on myself.
Mm-hmm.
God was the one that gave me divine revelation of the words to say. God was the one that guided me back into pleasure, play, and happiness. You know what I'm saying? So as much as I knew from my academics of psychology, human development, personal development, all the programs, all of that failed me when I hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? And all I had was my knees and the cry out like I never heard before. Everything about me was crying out like, God, you're the only way I'm gonna survive, or I'm not gonna live, you know? And so it was a recipe of things, but ultimately it was God, period.
Yeah. Period.
It was God, period.
Hello, and welcome to the Bold Black Girls Podcast. I'm Aries.
And I'm Kim.
Well, we survived. We survived
the blizzard.
What did they call it? That somebody called it
Dalaska.
And Snowmageddon 2021. Yeah, y'all. We talked about it last week that the weather was gonna be bad, but we didn't know it was gonna be like this. I mean, I think I was okay with the snow.
I was okay with the snow. I was not okay with not having the electricity.
Come on, somebody. Like the power was going out. Some people didn't have water.
Or some people had water and it wasn't hot.
Yes.
And they couldn't warm it up.
Or water and no power, no water, peanut butter, no jelly. It was a mess. So people are still trying to get resources, food. There's no meat in the grocery stores. Like I tried to go to Sprouts yesterday and it was like, we don't have no meat. Because the power when it went out, a lot of the stores lost their meat. So they have to, I think they get some today. So I'm about to go to the grocery store. But yeah, it was crazy. Thank God, you know, I don't think anybody that we know lost their life or anything like that. But there were some people who did, you know, that they were bringing generators inside the house and grills and stuff like that. And it's just crazy. It really revealed how much we are not ready, and our infrastructure here in Texas was just like not ready for disaster. So I think it shined a light on a lot, kind of like how the pandemic has done, you know, over the year. So anywho, with all of that being said, I did want to just quickly get a laugh out because, you know, last week we talked about our girl, the Gorilla Glue girl. And I knew it. I knew that I was correct when I said, you know, because I told y'all I respect the layage, the commitment to the layage of the edges and the hair. I knew that's what she was trying to go for. But anyway, if y'all go to our Instagram, wait, I didn't put it on our Instagram. I think I put it on our story. But go to the reel. They did a
interview with her
on there. They had, it was like a 7-minute kind of segment. So on their Instagram, they posted it. And that's exactly what she said. She was like, if y'all go to my page, you will see, like, I am very particular. Like, people know if I do their hair, like, ain't gonna be no flyaways. Like, this is how it is. And so, you know, I did feel bad for her. You know, because at the end of the day, she didn't know, you know. And so we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
it was just still funny though. I was like, see, I know that's what she was trying to do. You want to lay them edges down, child. They was laid down. We have a treat for you all today.
Yes. And we so needed it after the week that we've had.
Yes. So we are so excited. I've been playing her music really for the last 2 weeks straight, just kind of like,
just letting it flow.
Yeah, let it get in. So we are bringing to you all Miss Toni Jones. And I'm going to read her bio real quick because, see, I didn't even know some of the stuff about her, but she got some things popping, okay? And if you have not heard of Toni Jones, I need y'all to go right now to iTunes, Spotify, whatever it is.
Whatever your music streaming preference is, go and download it, go listen, and just let it rip.
So Toni Jones, for 6 years, she served as a well-being leader and mental health advocate for women and youth. Now, as an affirmation musician, she's found creative ways to promote the message of conscious well-being and mental health. She helps to inspire women to become more conscious about their well-being in a culture that drowns women's entrepreneurship and empowerment with workaholism. Don't we know about that? One way that she creates to promote this message is through music. On March 19, 2019, during Women's History Month, she launched Affirmations for the Grown-Ass Woman. On May 28, 2020, during Mental Health Awareness Month, she launched her EP, Affirmations and Chill, for everyone's inspiration to be more well-being during quarantine and during these current complex times in society. Her newly released album, I See Mantras, debuted on World Mental Health Day, 10/10/2020. Through her story, she embodies her brand's message to wife your life through well-being. Through her affirmations album, she is spreading that message throughout the world. She was recognized by the state of Michigan as a Women's History Month honoree for her affirmation album. She innovated as a wellness tool for women. It's fitting that this music ingenuity is created straight out of the iconic city of Motown, Detroit, Michigan. Come on, Motown.
I thought that earlier.
Toni believes that the new era of women's leadership is evolving, with the core requirement being consciously committed to well-being inside out, starting with the way you talk to yourself. Welcome to the Bold Black Girls Podcast, Toni Jones. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Toni. We are so excited to have you, Miss Jones.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. So we already kind of gave a little intro of who you are, but we want you to share with our audience your who you are, and then we're going to get into all these. We got so much stuff to talk about, girl. So
okay. Well, I am. Let's see. I'm a lot, but for the past 6 years, I've been a life coach. And I ended that career in this past November. And so for the past 6 years, I was helping women heal from workaholism. So I did that through life coaching, online events, in-person events, and like online programming. And so one of the things I kept coming across was, the boss chick mentality of like, team no sleep, let's get it done. We got to get these coins. And I was just like learning my clientele, like they kind of was dumping on me, and it was burning me out by helping them not burn out because they weren't doing the homework. And they had that limiting belief of like, I don't have time to make myself a priority. They were a fan of the idea, but they just didn't understand. Like theoretically, they loved it, but they didn't know how it integrated and applied in their life. So, I was like, what can I do to hack this limiting belief that women have that they can't put themselves first? And so through prayer and meditation, God gave me the idea of affirmation music. And so I did some research on that and found some artists that were doing that type, but they never like called it affirmation music. It was like spoken word or mantra, this or that. And I was like, no, I want to create something that feels like music, that it bumps, it hits, it's a bop, it's a vibe. And so I went to California for a month. I wrote the album, came back, applied for a loan, got in the studio. And then I was just like, when I was in the studio, I was like, how do I know how to do this? Like, and it was like, I never did music. I never wrote music. I never like it was never a goal, wasn't on my vision board. I had a whole nother dream for myself, you know, professionally and career wise. And so November of 2020, I ended my life coaching career and I just went into full-time musician. So instead of coaching, I have a membership now. So that's who I am. I'm a affirmation musician now. And so I'm still doing life coaching, but in a unique and different way. It's through music, you know. And so, you know, that's who I am. That's how I'm showing up in the world right now. So, and I love it.
Yes. And you are absolutely amazing. That you show up. You are on my daily rotation. At least if I don't get to it daily, it is also a weekly routine.
How did you find her? Because Kim is the one who put me on a while ago. Like last year, like what is last year, 2020? So 2019.
I feel like it was 2019. It was 2019 because it was your 2019 album. And so a friend of mine sent me Healing in Your Heels. Right. And she just sent me that one. And I was like, who is this chick? I got to go deeper. So I started going deeper. I'm like, oh, wow, this is a whole album. Because she sent me just YouTube. And I was like, oh, my gosh, this hit. Because at that time, kind of like what I was going through professionally, especially, I ended up creating a playlist for me before I go to work. And it was all your songs. And I would listen to that on my commute into work.
And that's how I got in because she sent it to me. I'm always like, I'm too lazy to make playlists now. So Kim, I would just be like, what you got? What playlist you got? She got all kind of playlists. So she sent me that. And I was like, okay, this is my bathtub, you know, music.
Yeah.
And then fast forward though. So when I got on Clubhouse, in November of 2020. The first day that I was on Clubhouse is when I got into the room with Jocelyn and you talking about the Big Leap, the book. And I'm like, I don't know what to do on here. You know, I had just got on like literally that day. And I told Kim, like, I'm in there and you had said something. You just said like one thing. And I was like, her voice sounds familiar and her name. Like, I looked in there and I said, this is our girl. I was like, OMG. Like, yes. So I'm super excited that you were able to come today because I was like, this. And then I didn't know you had a new album until you said it in that room. You're like, have you heard the new thing? I'm like, new thing? What? Let me get over here. So I hit him like, girl, we got a new one. So we've been bumping that. And I'm telling you, the beats hit.
We are girl fans.
It's definitely a vibe. It's definitely like, it's one of those things where we were driving down to, so we live up North Dallas, and to get South Dallas is like a 50-minute drive. So one day we were just rolling. I said, we're going to put Toni on. And I mean, it's one of the things where you be like, yes, and okay, girl, yes. You know, like
you don't have to skip a song, you know?
Yes.
Sometimes you have to skip a song like, this is not it. All of your albums, we just let it rip.
Yep, exactly. Wow. So if you guys are listening right now and you have not checked it out, go ahead and download that so that afterward, then you could go listen because it definitely, it gives me the same feeling that I had. So I was like I discovered Jill Scott in like 99 before her single was even all the way out. Like, it was this guy from my job who used to sell bootleg CDs. And he was like, you gonna like this girl. She's good, right? I mean, no singles were out of anything. And then I kept that album in my CD player for like 2 years because it was just like, I was in a space where I connected with it.
Yeah.
I feel like the same way with Icy Mantras for me is connecting with where I'm at right now as a, you know, right? So like I heard the Healing in My Heels. I was like, okay, this is cool. Yeah. But I wasn't in the space all the way yet. Like I was still caught up in some stuff that wasn't, you know, the healing wasn't all the way there. You know what I mean? So now that I'm kind of where I am right now, I'm like, it's like feeding just what
it's vibrationally aligned with where you're at. I get it.
Exactly. So
okay. And I'll just also have to say this. So I had to travel to work for Chicago and I came across this chick who I went to high school with. And it was a lot of people around. And so she had started having an anxiety attack. I didn't even know what it was, right? Or what she was experiencing. And later on, when she got back to her desk, she sent me an IM. And I was like, hey, I got something for you, right? I sent her a playlist. She said, Kim, that healed me. And even to this day, to this day, she still reaches out like, Kim, I see you updated the list because I updated with some of your recent songs. And she posted it on social media like, y'all, listen to this. This is so healing. So you have healed way just all around the world. And it's just.
And that's what it is about. And I feel like that's kind of where what God has been putting like in my spirit over the last probably 6 months or so is like, your personal testimony is your purpose. Like you are going through life and thinking that not enough or whatever. You are literally just doing what you're supposed to do is your purpose. And somebody is going to get fed off of that. Yes. Who is supposed to hit is going to hit, period. Like,
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I was talking to a friend of mine who we have a partnership right now going on, collab, really cute collab. Right now, and we were on the phone. We're friends as well, and she was just asking me. We were just talking about purpose, and I was like, "Sis, do you want a cheat code?" And she was like, "Yes, give me a cheat." I was like, "I want to give you a cheat code on purpose. I'm gonna let you know." I was like, "Our purpose is to be ourselves, to be happy, and to be like an open heart. That is your main purpose to why you were born." While you're here, if it translates as making robots, starting a candle line, doing radio, being a mom, fine, but everything has to align with you being happy, feeling good, feeling gratitude, feeling like yourself, feeling alive. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't align with that, then that's not part of you. Being here is purposeful. You breathing is purposeful. And being someone my adulthood and my identity was wrapped around being valuable to other people and saving the world and changing this problem and helping people, like that burnt me out. My compassion wore out with that. But when I did the first 2 albums, Affirmations for the Grown Ass Woman and Affirmations and Chill, when I did those were for everybody else. The I See Me mantras was for me, And so when I created that, I was like, I'm going to do, this is about me. Like, I want to do this for myself. And I was having fun. And then, so when I listened to the whole body of work the week that I released it, I just cried in my car for a good 2 hours because I was like, God, what did you do through me? What did you do? Because all I was doing was being myself. Wow. I wanted to create something that I would listen to, that I would love. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like when you talk about the conversation of purpose, it's been this romanticism about being a Mother Teresa and being this world changer, but it was a fascinating experiment God did with me by me doing something that was important to me first, felt good to me first, made me happy first, and then to see how it's changing lives. I'm like, oh, this is a blueprint. So I'm inspiring other people to do the same. Make your life the world you want to change. Make your life the injustice that you want to, you know what I'm saying? It bring justice.
I am the vision board.
I am the vision board. Yeah. I am the vision. All the people you want to touch, all the people you want out of your life, all the people you want to bring into your life, it starts with you. That is your purpose. And it is fascinating how everything happens from that place. Your purpose is to be yourself, period.
And that's why I wanted to ask you, just kind of what was it? What transitioned you to, how did you get so in touch with who you are as a woman? Like, what helped you find this voice? Because you kind of talked a little bit about it, but like what really was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is what it is.
I mean, it's been a long journey. I have a birthmark on my left eye. And so from the beginning, I was told I was different, by kids and school. It was just like, you're different. And somehow along that translated to the way I dressed and fashion. And so I was always, if everybody wore orange, I wore blue. It was just something about like, I have to be myself. I don't like that everybody is wearing that and everybody's doing that. Mm-hmm. It was always something about me not to just be different, but it was like to express who I am. I didn't want to feel like I was following the crowd, even though sometimes I did, you know.
Right.
But I think so in that regard, I feel like I've been preparing for this moment all my life, you know, but just being someone who is not in the crowd, not someone who's not mainstream with the popular kids, you know. But really 2019 put me on game, hands down. My whole life changed. I was lied on, cheated on, you know, I had to release a whole circle crew of friends based on how I defined friendship at the time. Just everything came at a whole. I lost my dream position. You know, I won't say lost. I changed the word. I had to release that. You know, it was just back to back betrayal. And then when I saw how everything was just mirroring how I betrayed myself, you know, it landed me in the hospital. I spent like 3 months after I got out the hospital, like sleeping in my parents' bed, like, cause I was so terrified of anybody getting my heart again. I was like, I don't want anybody to have me. Suicidal, you know what I'm saying? It was just, I went to the bottom. And when I went to the bottom, all I kept hearing, you can call it angels, God, spirit, I don't know. But I remember feeling that this voice kept saying, keep feeling it, Toni. Keep feeling it. Don't stop feeling it. Don't stop feeling it. I kept feeling the pain. And it got to a point where I started to feel my mother's pain, my grandmother's pain, my ancestors' pain. Then it started leading down to like the human family's pain. And it boiled down to the separation consciousness between us and God and who we divinely are. And when I felt that pain, it just cracked me completely. Oh, I was outdone. I didn't think I was going to ever come back. I didn't think I saw things about myself that I was ashamed of. I was like, not the self-love girl,
right?
Not these type of insecurities. No, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
This is not cute, you know? And I started to see myself and I was like, and then I started to see the people around me that mirrored that. And I was like, I don't like it. I just got really, I shut down on everybody. And it was just me and God. And God was the one that restored me once I gave up on myself. God was the one that gave me divine revelation of the words to say. God was the one that guided me back into pleasure, play, and happiness. You know what I'm saying? So as much as I knew from my academics of psychology, human development, personal development, all the programs, all of that failed me when I hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? And all I had was my knees and the cry out like I never heard before. Everything about me was crying out like, God, you're the only way I'm gonna survive, or I'm not gonna live. You know, and so it was a recipe of things. But ultimately, it was God, period.
Yeah, period.
It was God, period. And I just,
that's what he's trying to get us back to, right? It's like sometimes we try to avoid hearing that message by covering it with all this other stuff. And at the end of the day, how we were created was without all this extra stuff that, you know, that messes with us all the time, right? It's like you're really trying to get back to that pure spirit place, you know, that he put us in. We got trauma and all this stuff that kind of clouded us and brought us into all the depression and these other things. But it's like, ultimately, he's like, I'm your source. So when you see yourself the way that I see you, then you'll shed all those things of caring about what other people got to say and trying to impress folks and just all that. It just becomes like nothing. So like, I totally relate to that.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating journey because you know, religion will try to organize God and deity and divinity, and no religion on the planet can ever do that.
Yes.
We're living in a time where it's a one-on-one type situation. Because when you get that one-on-one engagement, there's nothing that could ever mess with that, because you don't just believe in God, you know God, and it's far past logic. You start to see how you just start to experience things that are just like, oh, this whole thing is magical.
Yes.
But you have to completely get out your way and surrender to God, you know, and God's will for your life. And it's far past religious instruction. It's a heart thing.
It really
It's
is.
being open, even if you don't believe in God, just being open to saying, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you, God, because this, and that. Like, you gotta, my heart is open to see what's up. But, you know, just being honest like that, like that's heart space stuff.
Because that's
So
getting rid of that, getting rid of the, and I feel the same way about, I feel like 2019 for me, I was in there. I was in that space. So that's why I was like, I wasn't connecting because I was going through some things. But I feel like when I got honest with myself, and then I got honest, I wasn't scared to get honest with God about the real feelings that I was having. That is when I connected with him. That is when I found out who he was. And I was able to accept myself, because I'm like, now how I'm gonna lie to him? He knows everything. I think we say that and we don't really believe. We like, God knows everything. No, your thoughts, even when you're like faking and trying to act like this, he knows you like, I don't really want to do this. He really knows that. And even the stuff we would consider bad about ourselves, the ugly, the dirty, the nasty, all that. He loves you anyway. And that to me was like all I needed to really take my relationship with him into a deeper space, because it's not about church. It's not, because look,
it's not about performance. It's not about rules. It's about the heart. It's literally about the heart. And when you think of God and divinity, you have to think of like romance. You have to think of intimacy. You have to think about connection. Like, what do you like when you meet a new friend? What do you like when you meet a lover? Or what do you love from your husband or your spouse? Like, you like quality time. You like communication. You like that you guys can get into it and reconcile. You like that you can have fun and you can enjoy, you can trust each other. You have to look at it in the context of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? I would be doggone if I wanted to build a relationship with someone and they gave me a whole book on how to obey them. Like, I'll be like, what? I'm not inspired by that. Like, I'm not, that don't make me affectionate. Like, that makes me feel like I'm gonna mess up, and I'm afraid if I mess up, I'm gonna have, you know what I'm saying? So we have to look at building that relationship, cultivating and deepening that relationship with God as though it's a real relationship.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know God, get to know God. Just open your heart up and talk real. You know what I'm saying? God has a way of speaking to you in a way that it's better than human communication. It really is. Because you start to see that nothing can escape God. I always like giving this example. Your heartbeat, blood is just going. It's just doing what energy, what electricity, what is making it do that? It's because you're connected to divine source. You know what I'm saying? That we are like the physical animation of divinity being expressed through an individual body. You know what I'm saying? And so God is not something far from you're connected. Look, just that source is lit. Without your belief, without your consciousness, you are connected to source. You can't escape it, So, and I say that for listeners who may not be, or may have another brand of God in the religious context, or maybe, trying to figure out what they believe. You know what I'm saying? I'm very sensitive to the range of lifestyles and understandings of what God is, and so on and so on. Because I grew up as a church girl, and I've believed in it all. I've done it all, so I respect the range of where people are at with God. Like, I never want to force that on people, but I do believe in giving people the invitation of like opening your heart to the possibility of knowing God in a way that's personal and not like anyone else's,
Yes.
Wow.
I said a lot, but
I
just wanted to respect your audience.
So glad you did. No,
I love it.
We talk about that, and we are women of faith who believe in God, and that's how we walk. And this is one of the things that we talk about on the podcast. And so I have a question, Toni.
Yes.
2019, you said that this album was for us. How did you come up with the songs? And you said you wrote it in a month. Like, your bars, the verses, the lyrics, like, your vernacular is amazing. So can you tell me, like, what inspired you to come up with those titles? Like, for instance, The Healing in Your Heels and F-boys are tools of enlightenment?
God's given me the gift of like speech, communication, and word. So I have to honor that it is a gift, because I was with a friend of mine. We took a train up in Michigan, and we just did whatever. And we ended up landing in this park, and she played this beat by Kendrick Lamar. And I'm listening to it. And I was like, what, you got a pen? You got a paper? And I just start writing. And I was like, I need to write this down. And I start writing, and she was watching me. And I was like, you want to hear it? And I started doing it over the beat. And she said, you just made that up? I was like, yep, I know what my next album's gonna be called. And this is gonna be the single. She said, that's crazy. And I'm like, listen, like, honestly, it's like I'm an antenna. And when it comes, it just comes out. It just comes out. And so those words in particular, I've done a lot. I'm a student. I love to learn. I love to read. I love to research. My academic background is psychology. I'm a neuroscience nerd. So I love human behavior. Like, I'm a geek in that regard. And so I've been always in programs around personal development. But I'm also have a taste on the culture, like, what they call tastemakers. Like I can taste that, like what is going on in the culture of women, entrepreneurs. And so just looking at some of the themes that women were going through, like I did an event called Black Girl Magic is Killing Us. It was a 5-sensory event. Dope event. Okay. Dope. I'm telling you, I want to do it 100 more.
Right. Hold on.
I want to do it again 100 more times, but it has to be sponsored. Like, I will never I spent a lot of, it's not that I spent a lot of money. I did a lot of DIY to make it a special experience. And so now that I know the blueprint of what the framework of this event, I'm like, oh, I can duplicate this if I got the money, somebody to just sponsor this. You know what I'm saying? Like Ebony or Essence to do a Black girl. You know what I'm saying? I would totally do it. I know what the event is and what it looks like and what the curriculum is. And so it was a 5-sensory event. And watching the women, our women, my sisters' faces, like in that experience, I knew that we were burnt out. I knew we were tired, exhausted. And I mean, I get teary-eyed because I never forget the way that they look. But I knew that they were going to walk out of there being messed up because I hacked something.
Right.
The message, the experience hacked something. And what it hacked was attachment to grind and hustle, and which is something our ancestors genetically, unfortunately, passed down to us because our Black women, particularly African-American women, we have been conditioned to burn ourselves out. I mean, it was in the cotton field. We may get a glass of water for just spending 18 hours slaving. We're like, finally got this glass of water or this chicken. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got little for giving all our all. And so I feel like that has passed down generation to generation. Now we're caught up in making $1 million in 6 months, making 6 figures in 2 months. It's like we're trying to figure out a way to, we overwork for relationships, our kid, all this stuff. And so when I saw this and I'm like, I don't want that. You're doing good, sis. I give you the flowers. You made $1 million, you did it. But I don't want that because you're compromising your health, your well-being, you're dehydrated, you're hormonally imbalanced. I was like, I don't want that. So yes, I may have suffered financially. Yes, I might have been behind in my business savvy, but I knew I did not want to compromise my well-being. I was trying to figure it out. And so Worth and song from Affirmations for the Grown-ups, it came from that experience of watching the women that I was, arm in arms with, burnt out, but was getting results. I started to see the online presence of African-American women winning. And I'm like, are they drinking water though? Who's telling them, like, what's their nutrition like? Is their marriage suffering? Do they have romance? Are they happy? Are they walking? You know what I'm saying? Do they have people around them that's asking them about that? Because that's the win. That is the win. Huh?
It is. And we literally just had a podcast about what we unsubscribe from. And one of the things that I said I was unsubscribing from was a strong Black woman, kind of going back to what you said. It's like I felt like professionally and personally, everything was being put on my back. And I wasn't healthy in the gut, right? And so I wasn't resting. My face was all broken out. I wasn't probably drinking enough water. And
Mm-hmm.
I just said, you know what? I told her, I said, let's do a podcast on that because while I am a strong person, I don't want to subscribe to the strong Black woman that anybody can just keep putting this on my back. And I got to keep carrying it like my ancestors
No.
carried.
That's a whole situation from when we are little girls. I was just watching this thing about, how the adultification of girls, Black girls, at a young age, that we should know better, and we should already be this, far ahead, and how much we can take. I mean, it goes all the way into our medical, at the hospital, people thinking we could take more than we can, like we're not human or whatever.
Yeah.
And how we started this podcast was based on literally that. Like, the podcast came out of an experience that we had with sharing some stories of Black professional women who were also dealing with crap
Microaggressions
at work, in those high positions, still the same stuff that everybody else is going through there, as far as Black women in other roles in tech. We were talking about that, but afterward they were like, oh my God, we need to have this conversation more. It was connecting with people, just that you're talking about something that we don't talk about, and it was uncomfortable early on. And I was telling Kim, I'm like, we need something specifically for Black women that is theirs, right? That is ours. That is, it's not for women of color. Anybody could listen. Anybody could experience it and learn and hear and all that, but it's for us because we need something specific. It's something that is very specific for us. So we try to bring people on like you to help us with, because we're all about professional. I mean, personal development, like
junkies.
We're junkies. We're the assessments and all that kind of stuff. So we're always like, as we are learning, whatever we get, we want to give it to our audience, right? So we're like, this is something that we love and it helps us. So let's bring this, on. So definitely you're right in it. And then when I found out that you had that psychology background, I was just like, see, that's what, she
it's all connected.
It's all
connected, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's all connected.
And I love how you normalize things because the whole grind thing, I'm with you. Like, I will tell Aries in a minute, look, I got to go take a nap. I am not going to stay up 2:00 in the morning. I need my rest so that I can function and be alive and well and alert. And so one of the things that I kind of like when I was listening to all of the albums, I was like, what I love is that you are in alignment, right? And so that was our word last year, is alignment. I always want to be in alignment professionally, personally, spiritually, relationship wise. And I was like, everything has to be an ease of a flow. And so one of the jokes that I always tell Aries, I ain't forcing nothing, not ponytails, not friendships, not if it doesn't flow, I'm not forcing that. You got to let it go so it can grow if your ponytail can't get in that ponytail holder.
So look, that's that like currency. What she's talking about, currency. Okay, so
yes.
Okay. Let's get into some of these songs because I got some favorites, and I told Kim, I said I got to put some of my little quotes that I just love from some of the songs. So there's certain songs that you have on there. First of all, like she said, I could go from front to back and just listen to the whole thing. It's all good. There were certain songs for me that really connected, and one, Sanctuary. So a couple things you said in there. You said, all my life is content. I was like, what we just talked about earlier, just doing you are content creating. I'm walking scriptures. Come on now. I was just like, this girl, where?
Yes.
Where? Let me see. Yeah. I have wisdom inside of me. Being aligned is a lifetime of clarity in my life. I was like, okay, see, like, okay. It's so much. And so I'm like, how you connected each and the titles of the songs, like they went so perfect with the lyrics and all that. I'm like, how she sit down? And because you think about it, like this is a whole 5 minutes of her just bars. Just
I was like,
it's not like a regular.
bio. Like, is she in English or something? I'm like, the words just all connect.
Exactly. So that song hit me. Lens Check was just that's a whole nother that beat too. I mean, the beats on all these, which I was like, I need to find out who's the producer.
Lens Check was so fun to create. That was because that was the first time I ever really like rolled the beat in a way that was like kind of hip hop.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Yes. I'm the villain and the heroine. Because that was the song that really was talking about like seeing it all, seeing yourself and accepting yourself, you know, and stuff like that. And letting go of people's perceptions, you know, of you and all of that, which for me was such a big game changer. It was a game changer. I was probably 2017. I started getting that urge of like, I'm making this money and I don't have nothing to really show for it. Like, I don't really have a savings. Like, I'm not being a good steward, you know, over my money. I took a financial peace class to try to get my money right. And started seeing like, dang, you're just spending money on stuff. Right. Like, you're not really adding value to nothing that's going on in your life. And then I started wanting to clean out my closet and clean out these things. And it really started looking at everything. I was like, I don't care about this material stuff. Right. You know, like I had a pair of red bottoms. I still got those because I'm like, I didn't pay.
She had a Lexus. She returned that in.
I had stuff that I was kind of like, why? When you could, honestly, you like your Camry better than this Lexus. You just got the Lexus because it's a Lexus. You know, like it wasn't because you want it. Like it's better. It's not. Like, so I really started just getting into that place. And so that's why I feel like when I started hearing this music, it really resonated with me on a whole bunch of levels when it comes to, you know, just letting go of people's perceptions, not worrying about that outside. It almost like makes me sick now. When I see people doing that, I'll be like, you know, it's a turn off. So
the album is definitely designed to bust your awareness wide open.
Oh, it did.
In the most gentle way though, like as much as possible, but it can feel very invasive for a lot of people. I've gotten a few DMs from people that have told me like they couldn't play certain songs for a while because it just cut them open, you know. And it's but that's beautiful because that means it only cuts the stuff that's not true and real and sustainable. It doesn't cut real stuff that's supposed to be there. It only cuts wasn't true that you're attached to, you know. So
how do you stay connected in this way? Like you talked about how you got the songs and what you were going through, but like what are you doing to maintain this space? Like how to stay connected?
To be honest with you, first of all, is recognizing what I'm a vessel for. So when you recognize that you're a vessel, there's certain things you can't do, like how everybody does. Like I haven't owned a television in 9 years.
Wow.
Entertainment is like maybe 0.5% of my life. So like I don't watch a whole bunch of movies like I used to. I don't stay up on current news. I don't watch the news like, so I'm like, my life is like my movies and my TV, like whatever I want to see in my life. Like if I want to be entertained, I create it. So the foods I eat, I make sure that my nutrition is on point. I'm very in integrity with my body. I don't get caught up in a lot of, dang, I'm getting fat or I need to lose weight. That is part of what I've been conditioned to do. So it comes up, but my intention and the way that I've grown is just to be in integrity with my body. I don't work out. I don't do cardio just to do cardio. Like, it's like, body, what do you want? What do you need? Oh, you want cardio? You feel like that? Okay, let's go. Let's go run. You want to walk? You don't want to do nothing. You just want to stretch. That's it. Okay, cool. But I'm always in integrity. I've made it my mission, like last year, like I'm going to be integrity with my body. I'm not going to do something because it's going to give me a result. I'm not going to do something because it's going to make me feel like, I'm winning. It's just like, I'm going to just feel good. So it's just the way that I approach the vessel, this body, this mind that I have. There's certain things I can't filter. I just have to say that won't enter. Entertainment has to be lived more than consumed, And so I don't share that as like, this is the recipe. No, this is just my path that I know for my own well-being, and for me to receive the divine messages that I receive, my channel has to be cleared. And a lot of times, some of the stuff that we consume, it clogs our intuition. It clogs, like some of our foods that we eat. It clogs our intuition, because the gut is like the second brain. And so when you like, and this is a fact, a scientific fact, a biological fact, that the gut sends more neurotransmitters to the brain than the brain sends neurotransmitters to the gut, meaning neurotransmitters are thoughts. Those are like brain thoughts. That's the energy that shoots everywhere, And so the gut is telling the brain what to do more than the brain is telling the gut what to do. So when you hear that saying, trust your gut, what does your gut say? It comes from understanding that the gut, it almost looks like a brain too, the way the gut is set up, And so it's like understanding that the more you eat cleaner, you have I never knew clarity could be a feeling. I never knew intuition could be a feel, like it could be an actual like thing, like, oh, I know that for sure. Like, I'm very clear that I'm not to go there. I'm not to be or appropriate this person in this space. Like they stay right there. Can't have expectations of this person in this way. So, and all I'm saying is just being mindful and conscientious of what feeds, compromises, nourishes, or poisons my vehicle that's holding this gift, that's holding my spirit and well-being. So it looks different for everybody. I know just for me, it's just keeping entertainment at a minimum, or really just kind of reframing what entertainment is. Entertainment is more like traveling, hanging out with friends, dining, learning something new, like going out for a walk, being in nature, more than sitting for hours and hours and watching. And that's not to shame anyone who does it, because I enjoy that. I sure did watch Bridgerton Netflix series. I sure did. I sure did. It was so fun. But I make sure that that's not my habit. That's not a bulk of how I enjoy life or enjoy entertainment, if you will. So that's some of the things. I do read a lot. I do learn a lot. I have rituals, self-care rituals that change up, but I'm in relationship with myself, y'all. Like,
oh, I love it.
So
yeah,
y'all looking at me like,
well, no, the reason I say that is because I feel like we're on a similar journey, especially with kind of being in this pandemic, right? Yeah. A lot of people have complained about the pandemic. Oh, I want to be out. This was a blessing to me. And so when I was listening to where you talk about play and being in nature, I actually started forming more rituals because I was in this pandemic. I would get up and go for a 3.5-mile walk every morning before work. Sundays was like 5-mile Sundays, and I would just go sit by the pond and read and just sit in the sun. And what the nature did to me, it was like it just filled me up. And then afterwards, I would go and get me some green tea and just sit and relax. I wasn't rushing. And I was like, oh my gosh, just being in harmony, connected to nature. I just felt so connected. Then I got a bike and I started just going wherever, not even having a actual path. Like, okay, I'm gonna go this way. And it was just, I felt that connection. So
I had to call her and be like, where are you at, girl? It is dark. Get your butt on the bike out here.
And you know what? And I'll share this too, like even with your audience. Like even if you're eating a chocolate cake or your favorite fruit, take your time.
Right.
Just enjoy it. Be present with it. I'm telling you, that is such I don't know, you just get gratitude and pleasure in eating. You just take your time and you enjoy it and you pray over it. You're like, man, I'm so grateful. I'm not in hunger. like that I have the privilege and access to food. I'm glad that it's normalized that I can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like this is part of my life. I send prayers out to people who don't have access to food. You know what I'm saying? It's like it takes the whole eating experience to a whole nother level. And what does that do? That amplifies your energy, your vibration of gratitude, which magnetize more, you know?
Mm-hmm. I had found out that I had a whole like animal sanctuary thing going on in my backyard that I didn't know about. I have birds in this tree, and I realized that I was being visited by so many type of birds back there that, you know, when the pandemic hit and the weather was nice, you know, out here all the way through November.
Right.
And I would just go outside. That was kind of my break. You know, I tell the boys like, hey, I'm going on my break, you know, and I would go outside for like 30 minutes. And I mean, I know she was like, this girl crazy. Because I'd be like, girl, a canary was back here today, you know, or a blue jay, or what, like these beautiful, I saw some robins when the snow came. It was little robins. I mean, I saw all kinds of birds. Then I'm like, and I'm creating a whole story around these birds. Like I would watch them and just see what they're doing. Like, oh, he was like, get out of my, you know, I didn't create a whole storyline like I'm Tony Baker. So.
Well, no, you're more in tune and connected.
I love him.
Yes.
I'm out there like, girl, he came trying to come into his nest and was like, you know, like I didn't create this whole thing, but it was fun. And I'm like, this is so beautiful. Like there's a whole nother life going on that we haven't even seen and that I hadn't even noticed because I was running every day, you know, going to work and dropping the kids off and doing this
on a happy hour or whatever it was. I'm starting to see ducks and I'm like, look at the mama duck and how the mama duck is, you know, taking care of the babies. Like I was more connected to nature.
I want to talk about one thing, and we could do this for days, but we're gonna try to wrap this up. But the song "Kiss Me," I feel like it's become like your single at this point because that's just been like the vibe. She had me laughing because on her Instagram she was like, "I'm blocking my mom on these," because she was posting some stuff for like around Valentine's Day. But the song "Kiss Me," that was a deep too. And you have partnered with Breakfast at 6 to create a collection of like clothing that kind of goes with it. I saw like the gown that has the lyrics to the song on there. Tell us a little bit about the collection and how that
Breakfast at 6 is like they're like the ministry of intimacy, and they are leading the conversation around conscious intimacy through lingerie. And so she launched the bridal collection, which is for, you know, women. It's for all women, but for brides are really interested in the ambiance of, you know, becoming a wife or being a bride, you know. And so it's like, let's play into that in a way that's creative but conscious. And so it was aligned, the Kiss Me song and her launching the bridal collection, and when she was just like, I want you to be the muse, and I was like, yes,
girl, those visuals, I was like, who is this man? Is that her man? Because them visuals was looking like I said that to Kim. She's never on social media,
so she talks about me, so I'm so glad you're saying that. You just validate and confirm. Like I don't like to get all consumed by it because you can get so consumed by it that it does block you and then you lose track of time. I'm in a season of play, right? I will go jump on a trampoline and just have so much joy out of doing that.
Enjoy it. And I feel like Kiss Me, I feel like Kiss Me is like, and I feel like that whole play thing is like, well, who can you share that with? It's like Kiss Me is just more, it's like a anthem of advocacy of like, I love myself and I want to share that with someone. I love my life. I want to share. Who wants to share theirs with me? You know, one of the quotes that I reposted from some actress who got married to a guy, they've been married for 12 years, but XO Nicole did an article about them. And she said, marriage is just sharing each other's self-love. And I was like, yes,
I love it.
And so it's just like, that's what it's supposed to be like. You know what I'm saying? It's like this, you're going to have your ups and downs, your ins and outs. We are very complex beings, you know, so when you come together, you're bringing two different worlds together. It's like two different planets. So it's like, but when you make the commitment to say, but I want to do this life thing with you, I want to share my life with you, nothing, that love to commit, it's like you serve that. It's not about you serving me or me serving you. You serve the love and the commitment and devotion to each other. And part of that is that individual joy that you have with playing or living your life, creating, having the freedom and autonomy to, you know, be yourself. And then you come back together and say, look what I've done. Look how I've grown. I want to share this. And that person wants to receive and exchange with you. So it's like intimacy is probably one of the most important pillars in my life. You know, I've handled it so carelessly because I'm a woman of heart, you know, and so for me, I always see the best in people, right. You know, however, sometimes that people are better in who I see them as more than who they're choosing to be in reality. And so I've had to learn, like, being intimate is mutual. It's reciprocity. And so doing this collaboration with Sarah, who's the owner of Breakfast at 6, was important to me. It was so fun, so easy, so effortless. We didn't stress one bit about it. You know, we are doing pre-orders, and we do have Affirmed. So you know, anybody who wants to buy into that, you know, they can, what is Affirmed? It's like a payment option where you can pay.
Yeah.
And you know,
they using them for those Pelotons. Don't worry. They know what Affirmed is. They out here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Kiss Me. I gave Kiss Me the whole month of February because it is that important to me. Mm-hmm. You know, whereas in previous months, I've done like 2 songs in 1 month, but Kiss Me, I was like, I wanted to have its own life. Yes. And we not done, honey. We not done. We gonna close out this month with a bang.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. That was so good. I it's one of my favorites. It's talking about, you know, just being vulnerable and being like, this is what I want. This is I also have some merch on my website too. Where it's some hoodies, like I have the RIP hoodie, which is RIP Toxic Relationships, Sincerely My Healing. We have another one that men and women doing the inner work is the new sexy. So we got some dope hoodies on there. Yeah. So on my website, I am Toni Jones. So we'll be on there.
I do have one thing that I want to ask Toni. So
yeah, go ahead.
F Boys of Tools of Enlightenment, and then Vita Men. Are they related in a sense?
They are.
Okay.
They are, because F Boys of Tools of Enlightenment came from me choosing to see F Boys in a different way.
Okay.
You know, me choosing to expand my consciousness past what they were. I'm like, oh, but I got this. You are an F boy, but I got all these lessons from you. And so you really put me on game on the low. Vitamin is my process of evolving from that thought that, there are no toxic men. It's just men who are undeveloped, men who are sad. You know, so let me get rid of the idea that men are toxic. Let me take that out my language and conversation and start speaking forth and calling forth healthy men. Let's see what happens when I do that. And it was just like so many men.
Healthy men. Yes. Hey, that's hard, girl. I
told Aries, I was like, I think this is the evolved version of the F Boys of Enlightenment.
It is.
Because I like that you speak about, you know, like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a man too. Because, you know, we're good for saying, like, if it wasn't for women, you wouldn't be here. Well, there was a man involved as well, you know, and just kind of speaking that positive side, because we hear a lot of, you know, men ain't nothing, you know, type of talk. And if you continue to say what you say, is going to be what it's going to be, right? So it's almost like a manifestation, you know, it's definitely a manifestation song, I feel, you know, to attract that into your, and probably need to listen to that one when you feeling like men ain't nothing, you know, when you're having that. No,
seriously. And what happens is when you start saying that, what ends up happening, your brain starts looking for evidence. So it could be a simple thing as like, my dad used to kill a spider anytime I needed him to, or my friend helped me, my brother helped me. Just like looking at masculinity, like when women are in their masculine energy, we get results done. We accomplish things. So appreciating masculinity, appreciating and celebrating men. is healthy. It brings balance because all of life has come from the biology of male and female. And so we can't demonize one and glorify the other. We have to understand that part of embracing a healthy balance is embracing both polarities of between the masculine and feminine. So I wanted to again give a healthier anthem around the conversation of men, because pop culture has a conversation about the relationship between the men and women that just perpetuates this toxic reputation between us. Yes. And so I wanted, no matter what your lifestyle, who you choose to love, I think it's so important to have a healthy mindset for the opposite sex. It contributes to having a healthy balance with your own masculine and feminine energy.
I love that. And as we're recording this today, is what, the 21st?
Yes.
Yeah.
Aren't you launching a new program? I don't know what to call it, course program.
Yes, please tell
us. Yeah, it's a subscription membership. Subscription membership. Wife Your Life VIP. VIP stands for Very Intentional Persons. So I want people who are really invested in being intentional with their life, and the goal, the whole space is for people to come together and say, I want to change my self-talk. This affirmation music really revolutionized me. And now I want to see what the practices look like. Let's see what the courses look like. So I was very intentional with making sure this space didn't feel like another job, another program that's going to make you feel like, oh, I got to fix myself. I wanted it to be fun. You know what I'm saying? So for the rest of the year, we'll be unpacking affirmations for the grown-ass woman. This first week is orientation week. And then for the remainder of March, we're going to be doing what that self-talk do. So we're going to learn about all the disempowering things that we say, the things that we say to ourselves, the conversations we entertain, the things that we consume that contribute to unhealthy conversations within. And then in April, we're going to be, I'm going to open, because I'm closing enrollment on the 21st of March. And then I think the end of April, I'm going to open it up again. But in April, we're going to be doing the affirmations for the grown-ass woman. And so each month will be 2 songs that we'll be unpacking. It'll have a course, it'll have journal prompts, and everything is just easy. Like I wanted this space to be just as easy and light as push and play on the music. Like, when you push play on the music, it just does what it's supposed to do on its own. Mm-hmm. I want women to be able to subscribe. And once they plugged into this community, it just starts flourishing in their lives and translating the way they talk to themselves by just joining. I wanted it to not feel like another thing on their plate that they had to put to work. So yeah, it's a membership subscription membership to, change the way you talk to yourself. Because like I'm going to always say, you can always hear me say this, that every healthy relationship starts with healthy communication. And because we are in the era and the age of self-love, self-care, personal development, being better, getting it right. Yeah. If we talking to ourselves, messy and negative, like we're not going to be able to really, have a healthier relationship with ourselves. So we got to nip it in the bud in how we talk to ourselves. So thank you for bringing that up.
See how it came full circle though? Because you had, you went to school, you were like, I'm going to be a life coach. And then you're like, it's too much work. And look, now you're right back able to use that gift, and it was able to open it up and make it that much easier for you to continue to still do what you're good at and use your gift at the same time. So
I know I'm telling you,
mind blowing.
The divine orchestration that happens when you are in alignment. Mm-hmm. It's an overwhelming feeling. Yeah. I sometimes can't think about it because I feel weak, because it's just like, how good can it really get? How easy can life really be when you're in alignment?
Man, I'm in that
process.
I'm just trying to, I was telling Kim, I was like, everything I do has to I need it all to be in that line. I need it all to make sense for, where I'm going. But I'm just trying to stay open to God to speak, for him to speak to me about how to stay there, right? Because you just said it, look all over the place and try to find things, and it's like you over here trying to be this. That's not your stay in your lane. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Like, stay in the lane. So how can people contact you? We're gonna post your stuff on here. What can we do to support you? How can we support and call us about the Black Girl Magic thing? You know, we down for all of that. We'll try. We'll even try to help you find some sponsors, girl. We'll get in there. But
yeah, I'm down for it. Everybody can reach me at iamtonijones.com. All my information is on there, even the Wife Your Life info. The support it's really about like what does your heart say for you to lean into with what I do? Like, it's not, I don't make the ask for really support. It's just more so like, what lights you up about what I do? How close do you want to get to the message? You want to do it through the merch? You want to just follow me on social media and just give me high fives? Do you want to be a part of the Wife Your Life community? It's like, my ask is really what speaks to you, because if it speaks to you, that means that you'll be devoted to the exchange of what I'm sharing with you, and you'll exchange with me, whether it's financially, whether it's buying merch, whatever the case may be, whether it's somebody you know that you connect me with to help me get this message more out there. It's just like, that's the way, because the way God has me, I want to be more than a merchant. I want you to be more than a customer. I want this to really be a relationship. So whether it's social media, whether it's buying the merch, whether it's becoming a member, whatever speaks to you, that's what I want you to do, you know? So, but you can go to my website, iamtonijones.com, to figure out and explore and browse, you know, what actually resonates with you. So
I'm going to use that in my life. I think I'm gonna
please. It's to be duplicated.
You to just share in whichever way that relates, into. You know, that resonates with you. I like that, because was that Vitamin when she was like, no, that might have been Kiss Me, when you were like, you know, I want who wants me back.
Yeah, it's Kiss Me. I want who wants me back. Yeah, and I'm telling you, there's a girl in Detroit. I don't know if you guys follow her. Her name is Mia Ray, and she's just like, what I love about her, you guys got to go follow her on Instagram. What I love about Mia Ray, Miaray. What I love about her is she really she's really like evidence of what it happens when you be yourself, number one. Number two, when you build relationship with your audience. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we all come from the Western world of like, how do I get your dollar? How do I get you to believe how I'm marketing towards you so I can get your money? But it's a whole nother thing when you're creating something of quality, that is of value, that people can appreciate, and you connect with them. You know what I'm saying? So the consumer world and commerce is changing. It is becoming, so it may be changing at a slow rate, but it is changing. So using that type of language around like inviting people in, you know, returning them back to themselves, or, you know, to trust how they spend their money, to trust themselves, and not just because I'm Toni, or because this is a hot product or whatever. It's just like, you return people back to themselves. So it's like, do I really want this? Yeah, I want this. And so I love Mia Ray, because she's been an example for the past decade of being integrity with herself, and just being consistent in the relationship between her and her audience. So she's amazing to follow. So y'all check her out. But she's in Detroit too.
Come on, Detroit.
Yeah. I know. Come on, Detroit. Yes. Oh, and shout out to Melissa Butler. And let me shout out my girl Melissa Butler. She owns the Lip Bar.
The Lip Bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Have some.
So, yes. My favorite is Hot Mama. I love that lip.
Is that the red one?
That's the red one, baby.
Yep,
that's the red one, baby.
Yeah, I have to get it for her. Yeah,
lip. You know, I'm a red
Toni,
lip.
I have thoroughly enjoyed you, and
yes,
have had, you know, they talk about influencers. No, you've had impact.
Yes,
you've had impact.
Oh, I received that.
For me, and I'll share offline, because we are going.
I know
over.
we
I have to share offline another story, but you've had so much impact on me with your albums.
So we thank you. We do thank you for your time, and hopefully this isn't the last time. You know, we just
not.
And we're gonna have to hop on Clubhouse and maybe we do a recap on Clubhouse or something like that.
Yeah, let me know. You know, Women's History Month is next month, so we could do something next month.
It sure is. I didn't even think about that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank you, and you have a good rest of your day.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye.